All right, now let's see what's happening on the other side. So we're talking about the tariffs and all of that. We've heard how the U.S. is not so friendly with climate change funding and all of that. But we have some individuals who are, of course, very passionate about sustainability. One of them is Dr. Renuka. Dr. Renuka Thakore is a founder and chief executive officer of Global Sustainable Futures Network, CIC, and joins us from the UK. Dr. Thakore, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here.
Great. So from the sustainability window or room that you sit, all these trade tensions, declining oil prices, how is it threatening or encouraging the achievements of the SDGs 2030 is around the corner?
That's very important to think, isn't it?
Yeah.
We are seeing these all global trade tensions, and notably these tariff battles are initiated by, U.S. President Trump, and volatile crash oil prices and so on. And they are having a blow on, developing countries, especially where these economies are just like Nigeria or others who are depending on the oil and other things that has to be exported for the economic growth. And especially what I see that these commodities are in a raw material, and they are going towards that, and they are exposed to this very sensitively. Like of course, the announcement of President Trump on these tariffs have paralyzed the trading system, and it has stalled the supply chain. It has exposed the weaknesses of these developing and local economies. So what I think, it is impacting these sustainable development goals, and you rightly mentioned that it does impact, and it slows down their progress, especially, for with the immediate job losses, as your previous speaker mentioned about that. It is not about the margin, but it is about not having business at all. Either we have zero margin or negative, and therefore every day SMEs or other businesses are closing down, and that is a job loss. Heavy job loss is occurring. And that impacts on SDG 8, which is decent work and economic growth immediately. It also impacts on SDG 9, which is industry, innovation, and infrastructure. So, and then, of course, it is impacting on SDG 1, which is no poverty. So this is happening already, and, it is also more on SDG 17, where these businesses are partnered with other businesses in different world or internationally, and it is collapsing this, global cooperation. So over-reliance on our exports, I think it is insufficient value addition to the raw material supply chain, like we haven't been able. Developing countries have stuck to what they have been traditionally doing. They haven't been accelerating their efforts. I think the previous both speakers mentioned this, that we should be focusing on, identifying our value addition on raw material supply chain, and then heavily focus on strengthening those. So, of course, I think that is what we need. This is a call to rethink. I think it is very similar to COVID, where we moved from traditional ways of connecting with people or doing our office work and workplaces and so on. We moved to digitalization wherever possible. We connected with people through several digital tools that were developed, especially like Zoom or so. And I think this is a call for everyone to think what is alternative, where we can develop, what we can do. Why can't we build buffer zones for ourselves, where to be taking bold and inclusive, decision making, or like reforms that would build our internal capacity and self-reliance. Of course, we must invest especially in excellence, because what is mattering, like I think the previous speaker also touched on this, that the finished products and services are not being valued, and especially the quality. We do not get the premium price of those products and services. First of all, we are not producing them, but also when they are produced, they are of low quality or low in price. So we must think how we can increase our internal capacity and self-reliance. I will stop here, and if you want to go ahead with any question, please.
Yes, I think you've captured everything that I wanted to ask, because I wanted to ask, what countries should be doing now, and you did refer to the fact that countries need to look inward, especially developing countries, even though a lot of them would say, okay, we have a lot of infrastructural gap, and funding also comes into play, and all of this, a lot of the countries really do not know where to start from, and that's why a lot of the countries were depending on aid from the US. But now that aid is gone, so I guess it's time to force yourself and look inwards, whether you like it or not.
I can add a few things that, we have a digital gap, a critical digital gap is there. Even we mentioned that, someone mentioned that farming and the farmers, like they need fertilizers, they need some support and infrastructure. But we must go for the nature-based solutions. Even the new generation, the young people who are not interested in farming, we can capture their attention to farming by bringing through them digitalization, because they are very good at digital skills, they are innovative. And we should increase their motivation, interest from that perspective into farming, that it is a climate smart farming, and that is what we want. They can go into carbon credit markets, because also without digital platforms, like trading platforms, we lose several people who can trade legally. There is a huge gap of people in trading commodities, because they are trading traditionally, and they are losing, they are not legally.
All right.
So we need to increase transparency, traceability, and trust in the trading system. And this can be, supported by digital skills that young people can bring. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Founder and Chief Executive Officer of Global Sustainable Futures Network, CIC, Dr. Renuka Thakore.
Thank you very much.